says preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay. We are now live. No one is here because everyone is on the other one. People are joining. Sorry, guys.
We get there in the end.
We do get there in the end. So stressful. I don't know what it is. This is the third time we've tried to do a live via Zoom, and every time we have problems, but never mind. We'll just let people get on.
We'll let people get on.
Hello.
Yeah, that's the main thing, Lizzie.
Yeah. Why'd you end it? Didn't mean to. It was just, the stream wasn't like in the right place. I set up a stream there, and then when we went live, it was like there. Zoom should be renamed Doom. I quite agree, Christopher. It's very stressful. I'm sweating now.
Let's see if I can find these lovely people.
Can you not see the comments right now, Lozzie?
Not yet. Give me 1 second.
Okay. We're doing anyway.
Have you had fun doing some trick-or-treating this evening?
Me?
Yeah. Well, I know not you personally.
The children had fun.
Good.
I was just freezing and tired, but I smiled and, sweaty Liz. I know, gross, right? I was going to start and I was like, Lozzie, I can't do it. I'm on my own.
Well, we've done it. We've sorted it. We're live. We're here. You've got your flowers in the background instead of me. And
do you know what else I've got in the black background?
The background. Oh, look at that. I haven't even seen this.
No, it came the day you left. YouTube play button, silver play button.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool. We'll have to find somewhere special to put it. Mikhail, thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for the awesome coverage, Uncle and Auntie. Thank you for bearing with us, because it feels like when it comes to technology, we just go stupid and everything falls apart. But can you see the comments now, Lozzie?
I can see the comments, yes.
Excellent. That's good. That's
nice
great
to see people on here. It's before we talk to people with their comments, lots of people have been asking, where are you? Why aren't you out here with me?
Couldn't get my national interest exemption. But I will be in America in 2 weeks' time with you. Daytona Bay, Florida.
We're looking forward to that. But this is honestly, Rogue have put on an incredible event out here. They really have. So cool to see them involved in Strongman. The contest has been amazing. I think we're in a very special time right now with Strongman. Martinez, just what can you say about the guy? He was incredible. Peaked perfectly, and very, very deserving winner. He just smashed it. Yeah, really, every single event he was just on it, no mistakes at all. The other guys were great, but he was the man that deserved to win. And that stone performance at the end, I didn't see that coming. I thought, he knew what he needed to do to win. He just needed to beat JF Karan's time. But I spoke to him after. He said it was just one of those moments where you just get in the zone. You focus on making sure you don't make a mistake. And he actually in his head thought he was going slow. But he was just so focused on each individual stone, making sure he got himself locked in. And, what a time and a performance.
It really was amazing. And we'll get to the stones in just a second, but we've got a super chat from Forzel. Thank you, Forzel. I noticed Cushy was there. I would have thought there was just as much, if not more, national interest to Auntie Liz. Well, that's very sweet. The way it works, national interest, obviously pro athletes can get it. And it's sort of written into the rule that also a coach or wife can get national interest exemption too. But because Ross was there as staff, staff's wives, no, not so much.
Although I did end up becoming an athlete today.
You did, and had I known this, had you gone out planning to do a rogue record breaker, then maybe we could have snuck me in, but never mind.
I didn't quite do enough to get any prize money, but it was fun.
That's right. Well, it's not like you trained for it or anything, was it?
I've not been doing any strength training whatsoever.
You texted me this morning, I'm going to do a record breaker. What? So that's all good fun. But shall we get to the because obviously the last time we spoke, Oh, hold on, we've got another from Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. MK1 motioning the log 3 times. Holy beep. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
Kiliashkovsky basically did 3 events out of the 5.
I know.
And still came fourth.
Yeah, it really was incredible. I mean, a shame about the lats, obviously, but I think he played it really smart. I think it would have been so much worse to see him get hurt in that competition.
Yeah, and talking to him, he's hoping to be back in shape, like really top shape for the Arnolds and Worlds next year. So he's used these last 2 shows as a building platform to just get that confidence back.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have an exciting, I think it's going to be an exciting 2022 with the amount of talent we have.
How tense is it going to be for World's Strongest Man 2022? Oh my goodness, with Martinez and Mateusz back as well. Ooh, it's going to be.
I spent some time with Tom Stoltman today, and he was saying Worlds is going to be his main focus next year.
Yeah.
He was really pleased with his performance this week. Bear in mind, he did Britain's last week. I think I said, what did you think of Martins? And he said Martins was awesome. Typical Tom fashion. He said, wait till I prepare properly. So he's laying the smack down. But I think we're just going to see some amazing battles between the guys. And, don't count out Novikov. Novikov's had a tough year. He's come into this very tired. His dumbbell performance was just ridiculous. And then, if Kiliashkovsky can get it fully fit, he just looks like there's a few things that still aren't 100%.
Yeah.
And then, I would have loved to have seen Trey Mitchell competing in this show. Trey's actually he's one of the helpers here.
I know, we could see him on the stream with a crew t-shirt
on.
He
looked so ready to compete. And I really think he would have been challenging, certainly top 5, maybe even for the podium.
Yeah, definitely. Look, the cat's up
already. She would never come up if I was there. No. We'd have Evan Singleton put into the battle. There's so many
Bobby
guys.
Thompson, Maxime Boudreau.
Yes, yeah. So it's exciting times. There's more and more good guys coming up. But how cool to see the last 3 winners of World's Strongest Man as the podium.
Yeah, it really was awesome. A couple of super chats just before they disappear. Sean, hi Auntie Liz, happy Halloween to everyone. Hello Sean, thank you for joining us.
It's just my normal face, by the way. It's not my Halloween costume.
Possible pilot deviation. If you two are ever going to do a Talking Strongman with Laurence Shahlaei, then what better time? The setup is perfect. This is a perfect setup, and this is how it would be. But I'm not sure that we do it live. That's a lot of pressure. I can't even get the live stream to work. I don't think I could do a flawless interview without a couple of edits. But yes, this will definitely be the format because it's got to be traditional Talking Strongman fashion, hasn't it?
Indeed. Although we did one live with Kazmaier.
Did do one live with Kaz, yeah. And that was fun, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Very intimate setting with dear Uncle Kaz. But yeah, so the performances on the stones then, obviously, JF's result held really well, didn't it? So, we had the surprise of, maybe not a huge surprise, but Mateusz just doing, did he do one
just
stone?
Did one. Yeah, he just did one. He didn't want to make his lap any worse. So he just put 1 stone up to make sure he secured that 4th place position.
And then obviously Brian stepping out as well.
Cup, is that my cup you have there?
It is. It's your Mr. Shahlaei cup. It's don't know where mine is. It's been a long, tiring day, Lozzie. I've been a single parent today. I don't know how people do it. Especially on Halloween when the kids go nuts. Let's see what some of these comments are saying. Is WUS 2 not happening now? No, there's not going to be a WUS competition in December, is there?
No, their next competition, they're looking around March time, but nothing's been confirmed yet.
No, obviously, as soon as we have all the deets, we will let you guys know. But yes, back to the stones. I was talking to Dan Hipkiss, and he was just, because obviously he's Tom's coach, and we were talking just before Alexi went up, because he was the only person that could do something at that point. you know, and he was like, if Alexei doesn't really go for this, if he just, because Alexei was in a really weird position where it didn't matter what he did, he was staying in that place, wasn't he, based off of what had happened already. He's like, if he doesn't go for it, then there's no way, like, there's just no hope for Tom. So, and Alexei did 4 stones. So I think at that point we knew Martinez had won, because we know how great Martinez is on stones, and he's like the last 3 Stonemans, him versus Tom, he's won it. So
he's he's had a great he's got a great head-to-head against Tom on stones. Yeah. And he's a fantastic stone lifter, you have to say it.
Yeah.
And not just a stone lifter, but a fantastic competitor.
Yeah.
You know,
he was all round good. That's why he won. He didn't drop points like all the other guys dropped points on something.
Yeah, absolutely. And Martinez, I mean, you know, we were almost in a position where he could have won that show without winning an event. He had to change that on the last event there. But I'm excited to see what's to come from these guys, and I think they are as well. You know, they all get on well, but there's more and more money coming into these shows, and you know, it means a lot to them. They want to take home the big prizes, and with companies like RAW backing Strongman now, who knows where the potential is going to be? I mean, the CrossFit is 300,000 for the winner, plus big prizes just for individually winning events.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some motivated strongmen out there that want to get to these events. I think this year's show, it was disappointing that there was a lot of injuries about. Yeah. I mean, that happens in strongman, but I think it could be a much more competitive field going forward. I think really we had 4 guys sort of battling it out. I think, you know, imagine a healthy field of athletes all battling, then it's going to be very exciting.
Indeed. Stop you there. We've got a couple more super chats. So Levi, thank you, Levi. Did you give the Thor's hammer a go, Lars? It's a shame you couldn't have tried the replica Dinnies too.
I did, yeah. I jumped in today, got persuaded to go and have a go at the Thor's hammer. Martinez Lisis won. He got 300 pounds up, which was amazing. I managed to do 250, and I got within a whisker of 275. Couldn't quite hold on to it, so I ended up in, I think I was 3rd.
You didn't do too badly. Was it just behind Mateusz and Martinez, wasn't
it? No, Martinez, Mateusz and me were tied for 2nd or 3rd, however you want to look at it. Shivlikov was 2nd.
Oh, Shiv.
Yeah, Shiv. And I might be wrong. I think Shiv and Kiliszkowski may have got the 275. I can't remember.
There was another guy there, wasn't there? A guy that I didn't recognize.
Josh Digton.
But was that Josh?
Yeah, Josh Digton.
I didn't recognize him.
So there were 6 of us in total, but it was just fun. Like I had no intention of doing it. I've not trained for anything like this. I got my arm twisted into having a go, and it was good fun.
I bet it didn't take much twisting.
You know, I like that kind of stuff. I'd like to. Well, I'd say I'd like to train for it. To be honest, I wouldn't. It was just a bit of fun.
I'd like to train for it and see how far I could push it. No, you wouldn't.
No. I said I thought the 250 was possible. I thought, you know, I'd have a crack at the 275. I thought I nearly had it. It was like up and didn't give me the down signal, but it is what it is. I would have got the 300 anyway.
Fair enough. Mitchell, thank you, Mitchell. An unreal performance on all events. So happy for Martinez to see him come back like that. Is No Prep Tom a new mythical figure in Strongman?
Well, Tom says he's not prepped. Tom was prepping for a different show.
Yeah.
So let's remember that. Tom's focus was Britain's Strongest Man. It's not like he's not been training.
Yeah, well,
he's in great shape. He just didn't prepare specifically for this competition, whereas Martinez has been focused solely on the on this one. But you know, they're all amazing strength athletes that are ready for anything, and I think, and I said this on commentary and a few other places, events matter, and this set of events, Lisis was the absolute deserved winner. Anyone can say what they like. He was the best athlete on the day, performed the best, but that doesn't mean you go on to the next competition and he dominates.
No.
You know, I think, you know, you could have one competition, Lisis wins, one competition, Tom wins, one competition, Kiliszkowski wins, one competition, Novikov wins. We're in that kind of generation of strongman right now, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of them fresh and battling. it will be really cool if the Arnold's happens in March. There's talk that it's going to, and I think that could be a really big, exciting show where everyone focuses on, because it's early in the year. They're not going to have gone through so many big shows. They're going to be fresher. I know most of the guys just want to have some time off now to regenerate and feel fit and healthy. So a big build up from sort of Christmas time to that. It's going to be an amazing 2022.
Just going through the chats. Someone wants to know if you got a Whataburger while you were there.
I drove past one. I'm going to get one on the way back to the airport tomorrow.
Okay, there you
go.
Whataburger. Frederick, thank you so much, Frederick, for the super chat. Loz, what is the Florida show and when? Would love to go and meet Liz and get her autograph. And on the stream, there was an older woman who looked like she was running the show. Who is she?
So the older lady that's running the show is an amazing woman called Jan Todd. Jan Todd, wife to Terry Todd, who is an absolute legend in the strength world. She's been involved with running the Arnolds for many, many years. The first lady ever to lift the Dinny Stones. Terry Todd was kind of involved with the first sort of World's Strongest Man contest. So they are a family that know an awful lot about strength. So yeah, that's who Jan is. And what was the other part of the question?
What's the Florida show? What are we in Florida for?
Oh, we are going to Florida for the official Strongman Games, which is, I guess the best way to describe it is the biggest, is the biggest amateur show for the open men. And it's an opportunity for them to qualify for Giants Live. The top 3 qualify for Giants Live, and then they have the opportunity from Giants Live to qualify for World's Strongest Man. And alongside the Open, you then have the various different weight classes and the women's classes, and then masters classes as well. So it's like a world championships for lots of different classes. I think they've got under 90 kilos, under 105s. There's the open men, then there's the masters men, and then there's the masters plus, or I don't know what.
Yeah, that's right.
So the masters is over 40s, which has Mark Felix competing in it, Jerry Pritchett, Shivlakov's doing it, Zadrunas is doing it, Dimitar Savatinov is doing it, a whole host of really good big names in strongman from the last few years. And then they have the Masters Plus, which is over 50s, and they are not allowing Mark Felix to compete in that one. They said he can only compete in that once he's over 60. Then there's the women's as well. So there's loads of, I think there's about 350 competitors in total.
It's crazy, but it's quite a spectacle, isn't it, when they have them go up, because they have so many people competing at one time. So never seen it in person, neither of us. So really excited.
First time going over, looking forward to it. And
it's over 3 days, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yep.
And we are there from the 10th to the 15th of November. So only 2 weeks away.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
back
definitely.
to the States.
Yeah. I get my spray tan.
Fly back tomorrow.
yeah, you literally home.
It's warmer over here than it is back home.
Yeah, much warmer. It's suddenly gone cold here. Right.
Lots of people wanted to see you. They're disappointed you weren't out here.
I'm really not that interesting.
They think you're more interesting and more funny than me.
Well, that's true, but I'm not that interesting. I joke, of course. Travis, do you think the setup of the event over 2 days contributed to Martinez's win versus it being a fast-paced event like Giants Live?
No, I just think Martinez was the best prepared and performed the best on the day. Tom Stoltman suits a slower paced competition. We've seen that with World's Strongest Man. I just think Martinez prepared really well. I think Martinez will be good in a fast-paced competition. He's a good athlete. And he just nailed it. You know, his prep was good. Let's remember what Martinez has come back from. He got hit by a car. He's had his appendix out. He's had a number of injuries. He's only really had 3 months to prepare properly in terms of heavy lifting. So he's had a really rough time, and it's great to see him back as good as he was. I was shocked. I mean, I knew Martinez coming in meant that he'd be in shape, because if he didn't think he was in shape, he'd pull out. He's not the kind of guy that's just going to come and make up numbers. But I was thinking top 3 maybe. I didn't expect him to dominate like that, and he just proved everyone how good he is. Reminded us all why he won World's Strongest Man back in 2019. You know, he's never lost that title either.
He's the linear champion, technically, isn't he?
He is. So I think we're in for an exciting next few competitions. Novikov will want to be back on that podium again. Tom wants to prove that he's the best. Kiliashkovsky, he needs a competition without a deadlift or a bit of luck and no injuries. I mean, he only really did 3 events. Let's remember that.
You still with me?
I'm here, yeah.
Oh, it's you went quiet really suddenly. Thank you, Lars. So I think that says Law. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think this will make World's Strongest Man think about the groups? WMS will need to up their game. Oh, WSM will need to up their game because Rogue this weekend was epic with the prize fund.
Yeah, Rogue was epic. And I mean, the prize fund at World's Strongest Man last year went up, and it's thanks to Rogue sponsored World's Strongest Man. They're involved with World's Strongest Man. So I think things are going to improve regardless. I can honestly say things have improved at World's Strongest Man since the first time I went there. But companies like Rogue are setting a standard now, and it's kind of like pushing it up fast. So hopefully things like Worlds, follow suit. It's an exciting time for Strongman.
Yeah, definitely. Alistair Evans, thank you for the sticker. Let's keep going down. Keep going down. A lot of people not happy with Tom's interview afterwards. Would you like to address that, Loze? And then a lot of people defending him as well.
Yeah, I think, and I know Tom well, spoke to him today as well. And I think people sometimes forget that Tom's autistic. And he's working with a team now that have really helped his mental state. He's got a psychologist that he works with, Amy. She's a lovely lady, and they've done an amazing job of making him believe he's the best. And he has this kind of process where he tells himself he's the best in the world.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes with Tom, there's just certain cues that he gets into his head that allow him then to talk. Do you understand what I mean? He's not like...
We are parents to an autistic child. I understand exactly what you mean. And
so
there's
certain words that he'll kind of trigger in his head, and then it makes him have that confidence to then, spit out what he wants to say.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes he'll say things without actually thinking them over.
I think with Tom, he says exactly what he's thinking. Most of us have we'll think, well, this is what I think, but I can't say that. But Tom will say what he's thinking.
If you think with Tom, like it's all about you're the best in the world, you've got to believe that, tell yourself every day that you're the best in the world. So Tom now tells everyone and tells himself, and he'll tell anyone that will listen that he's the best in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's all it is. Tom's got a lot of respect for all the athletes. He loves Ulysses. I was talking to him earlier, and he was praising him and saying how good his performance was. But he also said to me, but wait till I prepare properly, and I'm going to push him at World's Strongest Man next year and the Arnold. So, Tom's a confident young man, and he needs to be. What top level athlete doesn't believe they can win? We all want to see good sportsmanship and people praise each other, and Tom did. He is very respectful of all the athletes, but I just think it's that autism that sometimes Tom doesn't think. He's programming himself in a certain way to be the best strongman he can possibly be, and that's all it is.
Yeah. Super chat from Brett. Thank you, Brett. Do you know if I really struggle with the pronunciation, Matches Belsac is retired, or if he'll make a comeback?
He's just had hip surgery, and he's back training, just focusing on being fit. I do believe that he wants to come back to strongman, but he's taking his time. He's not going to rush anything. He's going to allow his body to recover and just have a focused, slow, steady return. But yeah, I do think he does want to do a contest eventually.
And possible pilot deviation. Thank you. Jan Todd, talking strongman / woman when?
We will definitely try and make that happen. I'm hoping to go to the Stark Center tomorrow morning if I have time before my flight to check out it's a museum basically of strength that Jan runs. So hopefully I get a chance to go over there. But Jan and I talk quite regularly now, and yeah, I'd love to have her on.
We did talk about it with her when we were in Scotland with her, didn't we? And she was like, yeah, we'll make our schedules match up at some point. So, yeah.
She has said if the Arnold's does happen, and we're still not sure if it's going to, but if it does, she wants me to go out there. So that's nice to know.
That's cool. We'll nab her then. Get her on a quiet day. Jay, thank you, Jay. Again, not that I'm bitter, but would love to see you compete again, Loz. Ha. Sad about Brian, happy for Martins. Bring it home, USA. That being said, you were still one of my favorites. Haha, later.
Thank you very much, Jay. Right now, I'm just focusing on healing up. Got a few injuries myself that need to be cleared up. From January, maybe I'll set myself a few targets. I've spoke to Jan Todd about a possible record attempt at the Arnold's, which will be fun. And I think that's the way my training will go. I'll set myself little individual targets rather than trying to be a full-time strongman.
There you go. Where are we? Oh, you have to be so careful. A little scroll and I lose everything. There we go. Okay, Forsell. Martins did have lots to come back from, but he was also competing against a field of the walking dead from a long season, but not everyone will be 100%.
I don't think we can hide the fact that not everyone's 100%.
Yeah.
You know, some people were worse than others as well, but it was still a stacked field. You know, you got JF Caron there, who always steady, performs well. He looked actually pretty fresh on the deadlift, whereas everyone else did look, you know, like they were struggling a little more. Unfortunately, Brian Shaw picked up an injury on the first event, so he couldn't perform at his best. I think Kiliaskowski, you know, those 3 middle events, he did really well. Deadlift, even if he was fresh, was never going to be his best event.
No.
I think he could have pushed harder on the stones. You know, he could have been a top 3 player on the stones for sure. Novikov's had an amazing year. Obviously a little bit tired. Tom's had a great year, but feeling it. I don't think this win guarantees Martins as the outright front runner who's going to win everything. But he was the best on the day, and you can only beat the people that are in front of you and with the performance that they do. And he was the best. We go to the next competition, it doesn't mean he will be.
Yeah. And when you think the next competition these guys are all likely to be in will be the world's strongest man, how exciting is that going to be next year?
Well, I've sort of been sat here thinking about who is my top 10 in the world right now. It's a tough question to think about.
It's really hard.
It's a tough one. Martins has only done 1 competition, but you got to kind of put him in there after that performance. So it's something we might have to think about and do a video on.
Sure to offend someone. Noel, thank you, Noel. Hey, Uncle Loz and Auntie Liz. Do you think that if Trey and Evan had been invited, that it would have shook up the standings? Lots of love, Nephew Noel.
Yeah, I do. I think both those guys could have done well in this show. It's hard to say where they would have placed because you just don't know what's going to happen in a competition, but they're certainly good enough.
Good events for Evan.
I mean, good events for Evan.
Yeah.
Good events for Trey as well.
Yeah.
good events for both guys. It's always tough, you know, these invitational shows where not everyone gets to compete. I mean, how often have we seen every single top guy in a contest? You know, especially over the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, we could then say, oh, we'd love to see Thor back. We'd love to see Eddie back, but it gets ridiculous. You know, you can only go with who's available at the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to see, in my eyes, probably 5 of the best guys we've ever seen in one contest. It was pretty cool.
Alex, this is a good question. After seeing the Yoke interlog press, how do you feel about it? Do you think we will see more events like it in the future?
If you remember when I first found out about it, I was like, what the hell is this? And that was probably more my athlete head kind of competing.
Yeah.
Because for me, and you sort of like maybe Rob Kearney. Rob Kearney was the fastest on the Yoke. He was without question the fastest on the Yoke, but he did badly on the event overall because he messed up on the log. So, you know, I was there thinking to myself, how could I do on that? So, well, I think, you know, fresh and feeling good, I could be real quick on the Yoke. but then I get to the log and I wouldn't be so good. And also then you've got to think the footwear that you wear for these type of events is different. So from an athlete's point of view, I didn't particularly like it, but from a fan's point of view, I thought it was brilliant. It was exciting. Yeah, I did, honestly, just watching, because you didn't know what would happen. Even if people went off quick on the yoke, it didn't mean they were going to have a great performance. And one thing you really noticed, and I was speaking to Magnus about this afterwards, a lot of the time when they went from the yoke transitioning onto the log, their first rep on the log was a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
They needed that first rep to kind of get their rhythm. A lot of them, they ended up kind of pushing the log forwards. Could have been to do with the footwear, could have been to do with like the fatigue from doing the yoke already. But we saw a few guys, Novikov stepping back off the platform. Really, he was so close to beating Kiriakovsky's time. It was an exciting event, and I enjoyed it.
I thought it was brilliant. And, you have to remember, they did the Wheel of Pain that morning as well, didn't they?
And yeah, that was a brutal event. And how amazing did that yoke look?
The yoke or the Wheel of Pain? The yoke.
Oh, the yoke. I mean, the Wheel of Pain's amazing anyway, but the yoke was absolutely beautiful piece of kit. Steve Slater built it. He was showing me the video of how he built it. It was awesome.
And it was £1,000, wasn't it?
Yes, £1,000.
Okay.
The other thing you may not have noticed is they had a strange kind of starting system. So they weren't under the yoke when they started. They were they were like behind a line, and then the beat goes, and they had to get themselves in. So a lot of guys took longer than others to get themselves in position and straight off. So that's something maybe as a new kind of thing you have to look at with training, getting yourself set up real fast and getting off as quick as possible.
Yeah, you could see the guys that were a bit more methodical and careful about that, but you get it set wrong and you're going to go down anyway, aren't you? So it's worth spending that little bit of time, but it was a weird element, the fact that they weren't under the yoke already.
I know. No, it was.
Alistair, I'd love to see Martinez challenge Tom on the Atlas stones. After seeing his sub 35-second stone run, I think he could be a serious contender to best Tom.
Yeah, I mean, he's beaten Tom before on stones, so I think
the last three times.
Yeah, he has. I don't want to see the light set of stones anymore. That Strongman comes.
I don't think it can be justified anymore.
No, I think we need to see the heavier set. The guys are just too good, really. That's as simple as it is. The athletes that are competing are so good now that 180 kilo stone is not enough to challenge them as the last stone.
Yeah, especially when tacky is allowed and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, someone said, is this time better than Tom's time ever? This is the only time we've ever done this event. This was a different set of stones. It's not the normal Atlas stones. These were Inver stones. So they're replicas of the Scottish Inver stone. And there was no tacky allowed. They're a little different to normal stones. So this was the first time they've been used, the first time all these guys have touched them. I'm sure they can all go faster doing them again. But yeah, I think we need to, and I liked it. I liked the variety from seeing Atlas stones all the time.
Yeah, it was the first time all year that I've actually been excited, waiting for the stones.
Yeah, I think I've been the same, to be honest.
Michael French, thank you, Michael. I get the feeling that Brian Shaw will retire very soon. What do you think, Klaus?
I was talking to Kerry after the show. I said, when is he going to retire? He's like, I don't know. He wants to compete. And, I've said this before, and I think I feel the same about Zadrunas and other guys. Because they were so good, I don't like seeing them kind of come down a little, and you kind of want to remember them at their absolute best. And although Brian's had a great year this year, when you actually look at the performances compared to his prime, he's not quite as good.
No. And
he's still dangerous. And if he still enjoys it, then who am I to say don't do it? But I get the argument both ways. For me, you're one of the greatest strongmen to ever do it. You've got nothing to prove. I don't believe he's going to beat these younger, fresher, up-and-coming guys. People make excuses because they say, "Oh, like he got injured." Well, I could go to a competition and get injured, but I'm prone to getting injured now because I'm older. So is Jerry Pritchard. So is Brian Shaw. It's the risk that you take in these sports as you age. you are more susceptible to these things.
Mm.
You can't compete with the guys that are late 20s, early 30s that recover quicker, they're fresher, they're in their prime. And it's a harsh reality to take for a lot of us. It sucks, trust me. I want to be out there competing. I want to be in the best I ever was. I can still compete, but the risk of getting injured is higher, and I'm not quite as good as I used to be. And it's the same for those guys.
Yeah. You say it's the harsh reality, but it's a harsh sport, isn't it? So, you know.
Yeah, but it's the same for like lots of athletes in different sports. I was talking to some of the CrossFit guys, and they're even younger, and they're like, I can't keep up with these youngsters now. We sort of, it's just the way it is.
Bloody tail scarf now. World's strongest blacksmith. What were the winnings for second place through to 10th place?
I don't know the exact prizes because it changed. It was kind of like rising all the time, dependent on ticket sales and Bitcoin value. But I think in the end, it was $133,000 for first prize. And I think it was around 66 for second.
Yeah. But the prize money is available on the Rogue website, isn't it? You can see.
Yeah, I could probably find out. If you go on the Rogue website, you can find out the exact breakdown.
There we go. King Penguin, thank you, King Penguin. Hi, Loz. Did you see the articles about Reza Tabrizi, the Iranian wheelchair-bound Paralympic bodybuilder and lifter, maybe being sentenced to death?
Jesus, no, I didn't see that.
Lozzie?
No, I haven't seen anything about that.
Right. Do some research maybe after this Zoom call.
Yeah, geez.
That's the guy you were showing me videos of a while ago, wasn't it?
Bench press guy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Forsell, was I the only one who panicked and thought Brian was going to give a retirement speech when he took the microphone after the Stones? I didn't. I just thought Brian's just having a moment, not a moment, like a bad moment, but like the crowd were cheering for him. He felt that he had to say something, but.
Yeah, Brian, he didn't want to make his injury any worse at that point. There was no, he wasn't going to climb up the rankings. He didn't want to aggravate anything. So he decided the best thing to do was leave the Stones as they were. And he wanted to address the crowd and just thank them for coming, thank the sponsors for putting on such a great event. Because Brian, like myself, has been around a long time, competing in strongman shows in car parks with no one watching, with no prize money. So I think when you've seen that growth of the sport, it's nice to say thank you to the fans.
Yeah.
And to the people that have made, that are making it happen.
Definitely.
I don't think you were the only one though, Forsell. I had a few messages of people saying, "Oh, I was at work and I couldn't listen. I was just watching. Did Brian just retire?" But no, he's not retired.
There you go. Bear with me. We are quite far behind on comments, so everything.
I see there's plenty of Eddie Hall is 6'1" comments and Brian's 5'7".
People seem a little bit not angry, but like a bit split on opinion about the whole Tom stuff and Martinez. And
what's everyone angry about? Tell Uncle Loz.
I don't know. You talk to your auntie and uncle. Like, there's no need to be upset. I mean,
I saw there was drama last week in the strongman community. I've only just sort of found this out today or yesterday with some of the under 10, or I think it was some of the women and the men had something going on. I've sort of been so in my own little bubble focusing out on over here. I've not really looked too much on social media. I
scroll through, but I just like the pictures of the people that I like, and I don't really read much more into it than that. All right.
Right. Let's get some more questions.
Okay. Greedy Beastie. Showdowns with Tom, Mateus, Martins, and Alexei. That is going to be exciting next year, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's going to be, well, I've said it already, but those four, plus a lot of the younger guys that are sort of coming through. I mean, Trey Mitchell, he's had a great year. Who else has had a great year? Evan Singleton's had a great year. Do you know who I'd like to see? I'd like to see Ian Bibby focus on whole competitions. I think that man has some ridiculous talent. And there's others as well. It's just getting them all to want to do it, getting them all to be fit and healthy at the same time. That's a big question. A question mark, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tom Martins, Alexei, and a healthy Kilishkovsky, we're in for some exciting battles.
Agreed. Ian Fisher, thank you so much for the sticker. Rustin Collins, thank you. I got to meet Uncle Oz this weekend and it was genuinely an awesome experience. Much love from Texas. Keep up the great commentary and videos. That's nice.
Thank you, Rustin. It's been really nice meeting lots of people this weekend. There's so much love and support for Strongman, and that means a lot to us.
Do we know how many people were there over the course of the weekend?
We had about 7,000 last night, which is pretty cool. The venue was brilliant. It's a baseball stadium, and they've got the crowd, but then they have like a village area as well, where there's events going on, there's merchandise being sold and stuff like that. So you don't always have everyone in the arena. So there's a lot of people all over the place, but the atmosphere has been amazing, and the response to CrossFit and Strongman is superb.
Hopefully bringing new fans to, I've lost my train of thought.
Both sports.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, I can't cope. It's been such a long week without you. Alejandro, can we get a max squat? We see deadlift and log axle, but never for squat. Much love from Chicago.
Say Alejandro again.
No, I need to go to bed. Alejandro, what did I say before?
Yeah, it was great. I just like, I like the name. Can we get a max squat? I'd love to see a max squat. I think people probably know that. Demand a max squat. There we go. That's how we get it. You still won't get it. It'll be a max deadlift. The issue with a squat is judging. That's why they'll always go for deadlift. It's just easier.
Is that the reason? Not because it's slightly riskier, maybe?
It can be riskier, but the main reason is it's easier to judge a deadlift than a squat. A deadlift, you just need a bar and a person. A squat, you need stands, spotters, and then seeing depth and stuff for depth. Everyone's different. You were there when we spoke to Magnus the other day, and he'll tell you every trick in the book to cheat. So, deadlift, you just lift it from the floor to a locked out position. It's much easier to judge.
Indeed. Derek Wainford, thank you, Derek. Loved your commentary at the Rogue, made the comp so much better. Do you think Tom losing will give him that extra motivation to win World's Strongest Man 2022?
Tom is motivated. Like I said, I spoke to him earlier. He's definitely motivated to win. He believes he can win. Like I said, he's talking now like a champion. He kind of has key words he has to tell himself all the time, and he has to walk around believing that he's the best. And he truly does. He truly does. He's already won one World's Strongest Man title. He's more than capable of winning more. He's only 27 years old. Let's remember that. Plenty of time for him to add to that tally of wins. As we've seen with many athletes, you need to avoid injuries, but Tom has all the attributes to add to his collection.
And I believe the last time we had a back-to-back champion, was it 2015, 2016, Brian Shaw?
Yeah, that's the last time.
It's a while ago. And since then, it's been a different guy every year.
We've got Eddie, Thor, Lisis, Novikov, and Tom Stoltman.
Crazy. It went from 2 guys for 8 years to 5 different guys.
That's why it's so fun right now. We're not having the same guy win every show. I mean, if you look at this year's winners, most shows have had different winners.
Yeah. I think it makes it much more interesting when you don't know. It makes the predictions more fun. It's like, goodness. Oh, Brian. Cracked Anvil, thank you so much. I have a goal of trying to close a Captain of Crush number 3, and I'm not sure of the best way to train. Any advice? Thank you for the great content. Thank you, Cracked.
The Captains of Crush are all good fun. I've never really focused on training them. Just focus on training your grip in a variety of ways. You can kind of do forced holds, so you kind of get the grip in your hand, like force it closed, and then just try and hold it. I always find if I'm strong overall, my grip tends to be stronger. You can do specific training for it. I'm sure there are some very good coaches that just focus on things like the grippers. I don't particularly focus on the grippers too much because they don't carry over to strongman events. You want to be able to support and hold onto bars for strongman or thick bar work, have a strong pinch grip. Grippers, although they're fun to do, there's no real carryover in terms of grip strength to benefit the events that you're doing, either like a powerlifting, holding onto a bar, or or strongman events where you're holding on to farmers walks or axles and things like that.
There you go. Greedy Beastie, why does Evan not like Richardson?
Evan doesn't like anyone. No, I'm joking. Evan Singleton is a fun character, and he just likes to have a bit of banter with Luke. They actually get on very well behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Well, I've spoiled the illusion then if I say that. You know,
no, there's pictures of them doing crazy golf together. I think if you look deep enough, you'll see evidence that
we're not old school wrestlers anymore. You know, where you've got to fake it. Evan just likes putting on a show. He's a character. He likes to entertain people, but deep down they get on very well.
Posted by Neil was asked what did Rauno think of the show, Liz? Rauno thought the show was brilliant. He struggled watching the deadlift with the winning lift. Was it 920? What was it?
Yeah.
It was 920. He was showing me the results of previous years when he placed mid-pack, having pulled much more than that. So he was like, imagine what I could do if I was there. He was contemplating what he could have lifted with one leg. It was fun watching with Rauno. He's a very colourful character. And he doesn't hold back. It's brilliant. I love it.
I'm sure he was very colourful about it all.
He's great. I love Rauno. He's like my new bitchy best friend.
He was impressed with the dumbbell. I know that.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think. I was trying to think what was the most impressive performance of the weekend, but then I think every winning performance was really impressive. Mateusz on the medley, Novikov's dumbbell, JF just showing everyone up on the deadlift, Martinez stones, Tom's wheel of pain. People should let us know in the comments what was their favorite.
What was your favorite? My favorite was the dumbbell. I think it was, not only was it it was the most dominant performance.
Yeah.
You know, he was so good on that dumbbell, and no one was even close. Yeah. You know, no one else managed the fourth dumbbell, so it was impressive. I just love how explosive he is, and kind of, you know, he's mastered his technique. He uses every ounce of that power he has. I thought Martin's stones were unbelievable, and Mateusz's yoke into the log was just when he got to that log and he one motion that first rep, after telling me on the plane over, oh no, I'm not ready to one motion the stone. It's going to be, you know, take my time and make sure I get it. And then that all goes out the window when it's competition time. He just grabs it, rips it, one motions it up, and I was like, yes, I was getting excited in the commentary booth when I saw that.
That was probably the one that I got the most excited about. And I think it was partly relief, because obviously we'd known about his lats and we were a bit worried. And, you know, I felt like we were cheating because we both factored it into our predictions, didn't we? Without telling people that he was carrying a small injury. But yeah, when he one motioned it and I could see he was okay, I was like, yay, around the living room with Rauno, who's also very good friends with him. So
I think that people told me my predictions were crazy. And other than Brian Shaw, due to injury, not being in the top five, we were all right. I had Tom first, but we pretty much had the top five almost in the right order.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad considering the talent that's out there now and how hard it is to predict a winner out of these guys.
We were accused of favoritism for putting Tom first. Honestly, if every time it came to predictions, I put the guy who I wanted to win, you would all call me crazy, because it's usually a guy who's placing somewhere near the bottom. So, I mean, I wanted Mateusz to win, but
both of us are very good friends with Luke Stoltman, and neither of us put Luke into the top five. So
no, and didn't apologize for it either, because
no, I don't apologize. I spoke to Luke last night and I told him I didn't put him in the top five, but I have to give an honest opinion.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Indeed. And like you say, we were not far off the mark at all. Jiminy Crickets, can you imagine this show with Hicks, Singleton, Bish and Mitchell? Wow, a great time to be a strongman fan.
Yeah, there's so much talent out there. And that's the interesting thing. I mean, when you open up the field and there's more talent and more guys in there, then it becomes interesting watching events, because then you have a lot of those guys that are exceptionally good on certain events, and that can kind of throw things out. But that's why someone like Martinez is so good with that consistency. You know, He only won one event, but he was third, second, and third.
Yeah.
Second, and third.
You okay?
It's a long weekend.
You sound like you're glitching.
I feel like I'm glitching. I'm looking forward to getting home.
Indeed. Where are we? I'm getting so lost. Hi, Loz. Have you considered writing a book or making a documentary on the history of strength sports?
I wouldn't do it justice.
You'd be you're not a very good writer.
Jan Todd is the person for things like that. You know, but no, you never know. Maybe something we can look into.
Indeed. Right, hold on. I'm so far behind. Right, you're going to have to start giving slightly shorter answers, Lozzie, because we are really, really far behind. With
Frederick Knapp is our next super chat.
Yeah, I'm on Frederick. Here we go.
Okay, enough height talk. If you want to know, Loz is 5'8" and Liz is 6'3".
Yeah, actually, that's slightly wrong. Loz is 5'7", but close.
Close enough.
Greedy Beastie. Loz was my first attraction to World's Strongest Man. Hit me on Insta.
Thank you very much. I'm glad we're getting people into strongman. It's good.
Alex Nicholson. Thank you, Alex. During the yoke, I loved the part where the guy you were commenting with was so impressed that they were doing 1,000 pounds and you immediately said, it's a lighter yoke. Did you do that?
I can't lie.
So he was like, wow, this is so heavy. And you're like, yeah, this is quite light.
Well, the thing is, if you're genuine strongman fans, there's no point in me saying, you know, when you've seen a 1,300 pound yoke a few weeks before in a different contest, there's no point in me saying 1,000 pounds.
Pretending that this is about
1,000 pounds is heavy. Don't get me wrong. It's just we've seen heavier. So, you know, 1,000 pounds is about right, especially for a medley. I think that's the right weight for these type of shows. But we've seen many shows where there's 1,100 pound medleys and heavier yokes. Sorry. So, you know, I didn't want to just say it's super heavy when people watching know that's not the truth. Yeah.
You don't want to treat the proper fans like idiots either, do you?
No, I did actually speak to because the guy I did the commentating with was brilliant. He's a really good like lead commentator, but obviously not a strongman expert.
Yeah.
And he puts a lot of research in. And there was one point where he addressed Rob as the record holder, the American record holder.
Right.
I didn't correct him because I didn't want to come across as like being that guy.
Yeah.
But off air afterwards, I was like, if you say something and I know it's wrong, do you want me to correct you? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. So that was nice to know. But I just didn't want to sort of, you know, feel like make him feel uncomfortable in that situation.
Yeah. And even experts make mistakes as well.
I make mistakes all the time, especially when I'm sort of getting excited.
About weights, you're trying to say like a 440 deadlift, you'll say like a 140 or something like that.
And also because of the American broadcast, I was doing everything in pounds as well. So I'm used to kilos.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have been completely lost. Like, what's this way?
The other thing is as well, it's much harder doing commentating than you think, because there's so much to it. We had to have like meetings, and then there's timings for everything. So you can't just talk and talk. Like you probably want me to be like that when I'm talking with you here, because you need to have time for going out for interviews with athletes, adverts, etc. And they're on quite a strict schedule. So you've got kind of voices in your head all the time that distract you then from what you're watching and trying to say.
On top of the usual voices in your head, yeah? Must be confusing. Ben Gill, thank you, Ben. Looking at how good Novikov and Martinez are, I think they can beat Pudzianowski's 5 titles. Think about it. That means Tom's never winning again. Do you know what I mean? When you think about the average length of a strongman career, I just don't think it's possible.
I can't see someone dominating that much with that much talent.
Yeah, when there's so many good guys so close to each other.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just hard to imagine it now.
You know, strongman's a brutal sport, and a year changes a lot. I mean, let's remember 2020 Jerry Pritchett was awesome.
Yeah.
2021 Jerry Pritchett's not been the same guy, unfortunately. You know, he's coming back from a few injuries. I hope he can get back to his best, but again, he's in that older bracket of guys. It's easier to get injured. You know, it's harder to recover as fast as you used to. So a lot changes in a year. I mean, people spoke about Kiliashkovsky being the most, you know, he's destined to win World's Strongest Man. Well, here we are. He's been competing a number of years now. He's still not done it. And now we're talking about guys that will win 5 times and he'll never win one. I think we're in for a number of different winners over the next few years.
I agree. Possible pilot deviation, max squat. This isn't powerlifting. Toss a caber.
I think the great thing with strongman is it's everything. We can have squat, caber, deadlift,
We can do
farmers
what we
walk.
want.
Yeah, throwing, you know, thumb wars. I think that's the fun thing. You just got to be good at everything.
Ian, thank you again, Ian, for the sticker.
Thank you, Ian.
Alex, Zerka deadlift walk for distance needs to be a thing with the globe barbell.
Zercher.
Oh.
Deadlift walk distance needs to be a thing with the globe barbell. Okay.
What's the Zercher deadlift, Ozzy?
Have you ever seen, it's almost like carrying a weight.
Is it like that?
Yeah. You sort of have to lift it. You need good flexibility to get down.
How's that a deadlift?
Well, you start on the floor with the bar, then you get your hands under the bar, or your arms under the bar, in your arms, and in the crease of your arms. Then you get it up to your lap, and then you kind of squat it up, and then you're in like a cone and circle position, and then you carry it.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It is horrible.
Alex?
Alex's next training program is going to have lots of them in, so he can never, ever request that event again in a strongman comp.
He's one of your clients?
Yes, he is. He's a lovely guy, but he's got a terrible idea about an event then.
Cracked Anvil, thanks for the advice, Uncle Loz. I don't recall you giving advice. Maybe the grip advice, was that for Crack?
No problem at all, Cracked Anvil.
Steady State, thank you, Steady. Hi, Loz, have you considered, oh, sorry, we did that one, writing a book. We decided you do a horrible job. Poor Lozzie. It's not your forte, is it?
No, I'm better at talking than writing.
Yeah, I'm better at writing than talking. Michael Andrews, big fan of your content. I was curious how long a hamstring injury like Brian's takes to heal.
It will all depend on the degree of the injury. He doesn't really know right now. He needs to get it checked out. But it could be, if it's a really serious tear, which I don't think it is, because he wouldn't have been able to continue at all if it was. So there's lots of different degrees to muscle tears. Full rupture, you're looking at 6 months, possibly longer. Partial tears in the muscle belly, they can recover as quick as 4 to 6 weeks. So hopefully it's more like that, and a few months down the line, he's absolutely fine.
Just reading the comments, Ian Fisher, he meant to send a super chat. It took his money, but no chat. So I will keep an eye out for Ian Fisher in the comments for me, please, Lossie.
Twice. I've seen something with Ian Fisher saying twice. Ian
Fisher.
It's
happened to him twice. That's so strange. Ian, comment now.
Yeah,
Lossie will
let us know what your question is, buddy.
Dustin. Oh, where's it all gone? Oh no. I'm so lost. Dustin, should the crew have lifted the log back on for Alexei? I was seated near the dugout and there was a lot of discussion about it.
It's a good question. I'm not sure what the decision was beforehand.
Or if there even was a decision made, or if it was something that maybe a bit of an oversight.
It's a great crew that they've had here, but maybe that's something that wasn't discussed. Alexei was like looking around saying, why aren't you guys lifting it?
Yeah. It just seemed as well, there wasn't anyone very close. Like they would have had to run quite a distance to get to him. Yeah,
if it was me competing, I wouldn't have wanted to wait. I would have just been, right, let's get this barbell or log, back overhead. But yeah, I guess it's an interesting one.
You think the modern strongman is more pampered, Lossie?
I think so.
Inspector Haynes, welcome to Team Loz and Liz. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Michael French, it was great to see Loz the commentator become Loz the fan during some of the events.
I am a massive fan, always have been, always will be. It's a great sport, and I'm just glad we're seeing more and more people enjoy it now.
There we go. Vose, Martinez only a few points ahead of Tom when Tom had Britain's Strongest Man only 6 days before and didn't have proper prep. ... What
was that question, sorry?
It's not really a question, it's a statement. Martinez was only a few points ahead of Tom when Tom had Britain's Strongest Man only 6 days ... and didn't have proper prep. ... Okay. Do you care to comment on that, Lozzie?
I was actually looking for that Ian Fisher's comment.
All right.
But Martinez only had a few points ahead of Tom when Tom had... Yeah, Martinez was a few points ahead. Martinez was brilliant. Tom was brilliant. We all know Tom did Britain's the week before. I picked Tom to win this show. I thought he was good enough to. But you've got to kind of tip your hat to the man that wins. Martinez was an incredible athlete and put in a flawless performance. So let's not make excuses. Martinez, deserved winner. Doesn't mean he's going to win the next competition. That's, the way to look at it. We're in a very competitive era of strongman.
There we go. Dustin, by the way, Lars, your commentary really is top notch. Look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you very much, Dustin. I always worry that I effed up and mess up, but you just try and do the best that you can.
Keep an eye out for Ian, Lossie. Jiminy Crickets has just joined and become a member. I'm amazed it's taken him this long. He's always hanging around.
Thank you for becoming a member, Mr. Jiminy Crickets.
Pausal, the guy Loz was with had no idea how to respond to these guys did this in a car park with only their family watching and maybe someone and their dog. Did you say that?
I did say that.
Did he give you a funny look? Obviously, we couldn't see what was going on.
Yeah. I was focusing on the event. I wasn't watching the response.
He didn't, to be fair, you made it very easy for him. He didn't have to do much talking at all, did he?
Did I talk? Are you saying I spoke too much, Lizzie?
Not too much, but a lot. Definitely a lot. Loz, go jump in Barton Springs before you leave. There you go. Maybe do it after your Whataburger.
I just remember a Stone Cold Steve Austin sketch about Whataburger. I kind of want to go and do that. Yeah, it's very funny. I always wanted to do it in a strongman contest, but
you have to send me.
I wasn't that guy.
You're not that guy. Alex Zercher, yeah, Zercher deadlift. Next plan, bet coached. Maybe that's supposed to say best. There you go. He wants it, Lozzie. Give it to him. Give the man what he wants. Patrick, hopefully Rogue starts inviting more than 10 people in the future for a competition of this caliber and prize pool. It would be great to see more talent in it.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of seeing more kind of guys competing, but it's very common to see shows with 10 guys. I think most of the Giants live shows have been 10 guys this year. I do think it would be cool to see a few more, though. There's so much talent right now. And I think that then, when you've got more guys in the competition, they're all fit and healthy, then it starts to chop and change the positionings a bit more on each event.
It makes it very exciting when there's so many points to play for each event, but also so many points you could drop if you have a bad event in there too.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Where are we? Where am I?
I saw a question just under that super chat by Anticipated. Uncle Oz, what can I do to get over the 3.5 Captains of Crush hurdle? The most I've ever done is a number 3. So if you're on the 3.5, you're doing well. There's only the 4 beyond that. And I think there's only about 5 men in the world that have ever closed it. So you're doing exceptionally well if you're up near the 3.5.
So not really a hurdle at all, just like,
No, you've got superb grip strength if you're at that kind of level.
The limits of most human beings. Yeah. Oh, beyond the limits. Monica, thank you, Monica. Loved seeing Loz do Thor's hammer. So fun to watch.
Thank you very much. It was fun to do.
Ben Gill, it would be good to have a legends competition.
Now that would be fun, and that's something they mentioned earlier. That would be a reason to kind of come back and do some just fun events where there's no pressure. You don't have to kill yourself with some of the really strenuous events, but just to see some of the guys that we've enjoyed watching over the years come and have a crack at certain things that they're still capable of doing. Yeah, I'd be up for that. I
found Ian. Here we go. Well done, Ian. Do you think Luke has peaked given his age, or is there still room for improvements? I'm thinking Tom and the other 3 guys from Rogue will continue to improve and dash Luke's dream of winning World's Strongest Man.
Luke's improved a lot in the last 2 years. And he only went pro in the last 2 years. So we've seen real good progression. He's won 2 major shows this year. Mm-hmm. I do believe with Luke, he needs those guys not to be on their best day to beat them. That's me being totally honest. He would need the absolute perfect set of events, and for those 4 to be off their game. or
a
for
lot.
something to go wrong, like a mistake, like we saw with the mistake with the stones in Glasgow. Now that, I hope what I'm saying absolutely motivates him to work hard and prove me wrong, but it's my honest opinion. I think those four are slightly ahead.
It's going to motivate him to kick your ass next time he sees you.
Look, I beat Thor when he was in his prime, when no one gave me a chance. Anything can happen in strongman. He's good enough, he's good enough to, he's just it's there. That's the difference. And if they're just slightly off, then he can have a great day. He can beat them. But I think if we're talking really about who are the best, those four at the moment are in that bracket.
Okay, well done, Lazo. Apple Sauce, welcome to the team, Apple Sauce. Thank you so much. Knights, Ian's question. Oh, bless, he did a super chat for Ian's question. Oh, that's very kind. Bless. But I did find Ian, so thank you. Where are we?
We've just done Luke's question. Yeah.
Jiminy Crickets, did you want to do the grip competition? Be honest, I am your conscience. I'll know.
Yeah, I did. I thought it would just be fun. I had a look. I saw these hammers. I was lucky enough that the owners of Rogue took me into the tent to show me around and show me some of the kit. And I saw the hammers and they told me about it. And I was just messing around with them. I thought they said you should try and give it a go. So yeah, I'm glad I did it. It was fun. I always like doing stuff like that, and it was. I'm competitive, so I want to be better, but. It wasn't too bad. I lifted the 250-pound, no training. My training's been rubbish recently, so I can't be too disappointed.
So obviously, Lozzie, you have been involved in this competition and you've seen the prep stuff leading up to it, all the communications that have come through. You were there a few days before, saw all the hype behind the scenes stuff. What's your overarching impression of the whole thing?
I got to say, working with Rogue, they are without question the most professional company I've ever worked with as part of an event. They have major investment into the sport. They want to grow it as much as possible. The people behind it, they're just genuinely interested in what we do. And it's amazing to see that type of support for Strongman, because we have I have been to strongman comps where I've had to kind of stay in youth hostels and, shared rooms with other athletes, and,
it's been done as cheap as possible.
Yes. Yeah. I've had flights paid for I mean, when it got to the point where people would pay for my flights to go somewhere, they'd find the cheapest possible route. So you end up doing 4 different kind of stops on planes just to get the cheapest flight that they could. Whereas, the athletes, the people that work for it, they're being treated well. They're very professional. They expect a lot of you. You've got to make sure you give a lot of your time. Like the last 3 days, literally from 7 in the morning till almost 10 at night, I've been, nonstop doing stuff. If it's not on screen, you're doing a lot of meetings, research, stuff like that. So there's so many people that work on the show to make this happen. And it was just a pleasure to be a part of it.
We've barely talked. Our talking has been done in front of a camera, hasn't it? You've literally been working, and then there's the time difference as well. So we really haven't talked much at all, have we? Dustin, should Rogue change the Stones events?
Why? I like that it was a different event. This is Strongman. I like seeing different events at different competitions. I don't think next time they do this show, it should be the exact same 5 set of events. I think we should see variety and changes. But I've got no complaints with the Stone event whatsoever.
We had some porn spam there. I've just gotten rid of it. Right. I think we should start wrapping up now, Lozzie, because it's gone 11 here. It's now a school night. And you know what? I realized I'm on a different screen. I don't know how to end this call. I hope it's not as confusing as as joining it.
Welcome Diego to the Liz and Loz team.
Welcome, Diego. Welcome. Thank you. So there's no button on here. We're going to go for the other one. So Lozzie, close it while I,
Okay. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed our little chat today. It's nice to spend my time talking to my wife whilst talking to you guys as well.
In front of you all.
What's this? Do you like stronger events or fast? I like a combination. I like to see a good combination of events. This is something very quickly before we do go. I'd love to see Rogue put an event on, or World's Strongest Man or whoever, where we have some events where it's focused just on pure strength, where we have one athlete go at a time. So like a max lift type event. But how cool would it be to see like 10 yokes on a yoke race or farmer's walk, where you get to see the whole field of guys going head to head? I think that would look pretty epic.
Yeah.
And would be a good way to get through a show fast as well.
Yeah, it would.
If we were going to try and do more and more of like the live kind of broadcasts and stuff like that, that would be the way to do it. So it doesn't take so long to get through certain events.
It'd be over too quick though. I'd be like, oh, I want to savor it. Repeat.
We've got a super chat from Frederick.
I see. Oh, where have I gone? There we go. So seeing the dumbbells isn't surprising if you have seen Alexi's training lifting 153.2 kilos.
Yes, Frederick, that's true. His dumbbell training has been incredible, but it's important to remember all dumbbells are slightly different. And I've seen plenty of guys do incredible things in the gym and then fumble under pressure of competition. So being able to back up that performance on this set of dumbbells is very, very impressive. You know, I've seen guys that can do 140 in the gym, and then you don't see that performance when it comes to competition. So he's very, very good at the dumbbell. He's proven it time and time now, but that 153 was epic. But to do the dumbbells in a row like that is something else as well. So extremely impressive, especially when, like I said, you've got all the other top guys there. That's when it's really impressive, when everyone is doing it on the same bit of kit.
Yeah, definitely. And just to address the last one, David Depper, too bad you only read questions and comments from fans if they pay money. That's not true. Obviously, if people super chat, we have to prioritize them. It is only fair. Whenever they've all gone, I go straight into the regular comments, but sometimes there's too many to be able to do both. But we do try our absolute best. Anyway, now I have to find a way to end this conversation and actually end the stream. So if you're here swearing and see my confused face, I can only apologize now. All right, Lozzie, do your wave.
I shall see you when I get back to the UK.